Hey, welcome to the tech capital of the world, Kernersville, North Carolina. My name is Bobby Dave, CEO and founder of Coder Foundry. And Kevin, it looks like we've got a recession on the way. What do we do?
Panic.
Panic.
Buy
We just
stuff.
need to
I don't
fold
know,
up shop.
to run around yelling stuff.
Yeah.
Or go get new jobs.
Yeah.
New jobs somewhere that's recession proof.
I think about getting one of those sandwich board signs and the end is near and just stand on the edge of the street. So
might as well. It's not a meteor coming though. It's just like
no.
It's just money.
Yeah. So like we've been watching tech Twitter a lot, and then a couple of comments here. I don't know if they're tongue in cheek. Yeah. But people are panicking. Like they're thinking, hey, should I quit learning? What should I do? And Kevin, one of the things that I can say is that I'm older than some, not older than everyone, but I'm older than some. So I've been through a lot of these things.
You've done a couple of these.
Yeah. So the tech bubble in between 2000 and 2002 was horrendous. And that's when I started my first company, Cortex. It was during the tech bubble.
Okay.
When it burst, that's when we started. Because we got laid off and we're like, what do you do? Okay, we invent our new job, so that's what we did.
So there you go. So it brought you an opportunity.
Yeah. So here's the thing about tech. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And when you look at technology fields, so let's just take something like logistics. To this day, still isn't really automated to this day to the degree that it needs to be. So you do have UPS, you have FedEx, but you see all the other heavy freight carriers, it's still 3-part paper, man. I mean, you see the supply chain woes that's sitting out there on the coast of California, and you're like, okay, there's definitely a technology solution for that if there ever was one. It just doesn't exist yet. So like all these things will happen. When you look at agriculture, I mean, like definitely there's things in agriculture that could be streamlined, built, and done, and so there's just so much opportunity out there that's just not what people traditionally think. The big 5 companies.
Yep.
The FANG companies. So
definitely.
Now, I mean, when you look at it, you look at the stock market, and we're impacted by the stock market, and we're saying, oh, the stock market's down. Well, it goes down all the time, and it comes back, and these things are cyclical. So I wouldn't worry too much about your tech job. I would still say committed to learning. We just had a company call in yesterday. It's trying to hire 5 people right out of our cohort, and that's just one of the companies.
That's the thing. We haven't seen a slowdown in employment yet, have we?
No, it's just so crazy. So like when you look at, okay, Microsoft stock's down, but that's because of a broader thing. It has nothing to do with Microsoft. When you looked at their fourth quarter or their reports in the first quarter or whatever it was, they have more Azure, more Windows, and more Office. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Everything's down across the board. Everything's in the red. Like, it doesn't matter what company you are.
And then then I see crypto's down, so I must therefore quit. I'm like, did you have crypto to begin with? Really? I mean, like, it's not. Bitcoin isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's a big deal if you own a lot of it, but like in general, that's not going to impact the mom and pop shop down the street, whether they win or lose based on what the price of Bitcoin is.
Right.
So, and then a recession happens all the time, so it happens, and then it could make it a little bit more difficult. But if you want to be in a job that's more recession proof, dude, learning how to code is the one to be in.
Exactly. I think that's the point of this, right? So firstly, we don't even know there is a recession. I just Googled right before we came on here, the word recession in news, right? And it's like, this one's like, not all recessions are the same on CNN. Market watchers keep calm. There's no recession. Then there was, there is a recession coming, citing mortgage rates, and somebody's like, it's like, things may look shaky, but recession isn't certainty. It's like, it's totally polarizing things. This is not a done deal at this point. This is not one of those things where you got to run out and like sell all your stocks at a loss at this point, because it's gonna.
No, it's just hang on to them. Like, and then economics is always backwards looking too. Like these economics always say, "Hey, we were in a recession last quarter." Like they're always looking backwards because you can't predict it right now. And so the best thing you can do now is still embrace learning to code, breaking in, doing those kind of things that you're already doing. It's the best move that you can make right now, instead of just saying, I'm going to pull back for a while and see what shakes out. You're just delaying your entry into the market, and you're delaying your ability to earn income.
Yeah, because especially like we're saying right now, we haven't seen anything pull back on in terms of like from what we're seeing. I've heard of other people say like, Facebook's letting some people go or whatever. I saw that the other day. I was like, okay, that's really okay. I don't think that's not tied to the whole
And
thing.
they're
Like, it
allowed
needs
to
to be
let
more
people
wide than
go.
that. Yeah.
I mean, Facebook
Yeah.
can restructure. I mean, Facebook can say we have too many people. Companies go through this. I mean, like, if you look at the FANG stocks, if we wanted to make a prediction, the one that's in most trouble, which has nothing to do with the recession, is Netflix. I mean, they're the one that's the most in the trouble. I mean, like,
right.
they have more competition. It has nothing to do with the recession.
I'm still calling a Netflix Disney merge at some point. That's what I'm calling.
Wow.
Netflix again. Disney are buying Netflix. That's what I'm going with. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Put the Marvel shows back on
we'll
Netflix.
See. Exactly. So. Somebody's gonna. It's gonna be a merge of two big ones. That's what's gonna happen. That's my guess.
Yeah. Another thing too that you got to look at. We can look at the most recent recession, which we didn't call it a recession. We called it a pandemic, and people were still working in 2021. Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We shut the whole country down. I mean, like, and so that was rough. But if you were working as a dev, you pretty much had a job, and people were still landing jobs during that year. Was it harder? Yeah, but if you had the skills, you were employed. And so that's the great thing about coding as a career. I think you're going to be fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. So
yeah, essentially our advice is it's not a reason not to get started, and it's definitely not a reason to jump out.
Yeah, why would you jump out? They're paying you. So
don't all of a sudden decide that I need something that's going to be that I've seen historically as recession-proof, because this one is. If you look at it, it definitely is. On the whole, it's definitely one of the more safer places. Not everybody's always safe through a recession. Obviously, that's how it goes. No. But historically, we've definitely seen it be one of the safer places once you're already in. If you're already in,
and if you're good at your job in coding, you're always going to be employed anyway. Even if the company you're working for goes under because of recession, you'll be employed next week. Anyone getting fired as a dev from Facebook has a job next week. That's good at their job.
Right.
Even if they are getting laid off and and so like what you're seeing at Facebook maybe is that, they're 97% ad revenue based, and they're trying to transition into something else. They got Instagram, they've got other priorities, and they're saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we can save some money over here on Facebook so we can get this Oculus thing where we want it to be. And they still have like $40 billion. It's not like they're broke. I mean, like, they're
right.
But, and then Microsoft is going gangbusters. I mean, so they're not slowing down. Amazon's not slowing down. Shopify just made a $2.1 billion investment in logistics. So, things are happening. It always will happen. Yep. And when you look at the pandemic, lots of companies thrive during that recession. That's the other thing people don't understand. Not everyone goes down. I mean, not every. Right. That's not the whole thing. I mean, I know that gas is $5. I get that, but that goes through cycles too. We've been here before, and it'll go back down to $3 hopefully one day again, or we'll all drive electric cars. I don't know, but like
Caltech's premium, which is even more expensive. You got to put the anti-gas in it. It's like it is like $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
Crazy. But that will come down again. Like you said, it will be at $3, $2 a gallon again at some point.
Yeah.
It will come back again. It's cyclical.
So hopefully that gives some people some hope here. So anyway, if you want to ask us a question and you want to super chat us up, and we'll ask your burning question if you've got one. Buy some tacos.
Yeah, we'll do regular Q&A today. We titled this one up a little bit different just so we could talk about that up front. But we'll do regular Q&A as well. So throw your questions in chat. They can be on topic, off topic, doesn't matter. Same rules as normal. I'll go through them. I will queue them up, and we will get to those in the order that they come in. Or if you super chat, you can do that too and jump the queue, and we'll grab those as they come in.
Let's see if you got any recession comments here. There's a couple of good ones in here. I'm looking at NC-17 Heroes got something. Let's see what he's got.
It's got stung by the first .com bubble bursting, and this doesn't feel like that.
It's
some runaway valuation startups that didn't have legs and uncertainty due to current geopolitics.
Yeah, there's a war going on. There's the .com bubble was bad, but like I said, even that, it's like that's when I started my thing. So I can remember like from 97 to 2002, if you just had an idea for a website, you were getting funded. It was crazy.
Exactly. Oh, it was crazy.
It's crazy.
It was crazy. Some stupid things got made, and it was like, why do we need that? No, we don't need that.
And so now I think we have a more stable roadmap of what's acceptable, what can be done, what should be done, and those kind of things. Now, there's always someone pitching the next new thing that's kind of crazy and doesn't have legs, and that always happens. And VCs invest in those things because they want to invest in 10 and hit on one. So, but and when you look at Apple and the things that are undercurrent, the underpinning of all this tech industry, they're pretty strong, man. Like, I don't think these companies are going away anytime soon. There's always going to be
right before this recent overall dip. These companies were stellar for the past 5 years, at least. Like if you'd invested in Apple 5 years ago, and
even Bitcoin, man. If you bought Bitcoin 5 years ago, you're still doing pretty good. I mean, it's just, it's on a downturn now, 50% over the last, but still
50% over the last 6 months. We were talking about this morning. Like, Bitcoin's never going to get to be on the same level as fungible monies until it gets to the point where its volatility isn't what it is today. So we're saying if you work for a company, you were getting paid by Bitcoin, you just took a 50% pay decrease over the last 6 months.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's unmanageable.
Yeah,
I mean that you couldn't live that way. How would you live? Like, it would be insane. Like, what would be your level of your lifestyle be like if 1 month, if 6 months ago you were making double the amount of money you're making now, like you couldn't budget for that, could you? You'd be like, well, I'm not going to buy a new car because I don't know if I'm going to be making, where's Bitcoin going to go?
Yeah.
Or the volatility. It's like if you get paid this week versus last week and all of a sudden you're making, a significant percentage less. I get it goes the other way too. I understand that. But again, you couldn't budget for it. Like, you wouldn't trust that it was constantly going to be up. I just don't see it as being a long-term replacement for fungible money.
No,
I just don't see it.
It's a speculative asset. It always has been. So
it's good for investing.
Yeah,
but it does. It goes up and down. And invest in it. Buy it when it's low. Sell it when it's high. That's it.
It's pretty low right now.
Yeah, now might be the time to buy.
Stay away from those crazy coins, like the millionaire coin from Tech Lead. Stay away from the crazy coins. So.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to endorse that.
Yeah.
Or give any real financial advice. Don't forget that too. We are not financial advisors.
All right, cool. Let's see what else we got.
Let me see. Okay, we're getting some questions here. Xavier wants to know JS Stack or Java Stack, which is the best?
I think they're different. And I think that JS Stack, you're talking about Node.js, Xavier, and then Java Stack being what I think of as Spring Boot or Spring MVC. They're two different things to build things. One, building multi-page apps, which I think is relevant. I think, JS Stack is more popular on tech Twitter, but I think a lot of people are using backend. I think you need Node.js and a server-side language like Java or C#. I think that's great. So I would say JS Stack versus Java Stack versus MVC, ASP.NET is where I would lean that over Java, especially with .NET 7 coming out being 73% faster than .NET 6. It's just like they're just killing it, man.
That's a big improvement, isn't it? For one that is
huge.
And that's for a version that .NET 7 not having long-term support either, by the way. So .NET 6 being the big upgrade, .NET 7 being the one that's more of an incremental upgrade over 6. To have such a boost is crazy.
Yeah, they're just really, really, really doubling down to make it the fastest server-side language on the planet. Now, will they get there? I mean, Rust is a different language. So, but doing that with a general purpose language is crazy good. So, but yeah, I think you can make a living either way with one of those. What I always tell Xavier is pick one, be good at it, interview in that stack, and get a job. So no one's better than the other necessarily. And
decide which one based on what your market's like. You may be a JavaScript heavy market where you want to work. You may be Java. Pick whichever one you can get a job in because that's where you need to go.
Yeah.
You need to do. If you're just academically picking one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Miguel wants to know any recruiter recommendations for Raleigh.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's tons of them. Tech systems obviously being big in North Carolina, cyber coders being big in North Carolina, and just go on LinkedIn and look. There's a bunch of them in Raleigh.
I would say
Raleigh's hot.
the best way to do it, yeah, Raleigh is hot, and the best way to do it
Yeah.
is if you go on LinkedIn and just look, just put in their search recruiter and your location, and you'll find them. They'll come up. I'll put in tech
There's
recruiter.
a bunch of them. Yeah, data masters, cyber coders. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Let's see, unassailable optimism. Waiting is tough when you're a noob. I guess that's waiting to get into the market.
Yeah, so we're gonna make a video about this, about like mistakes people make. But I think they're correctable, and just remaining positive. All I can say is unassailable optimist. Okay, waiting is tough. I like that. It's kind of just be optimistic about what you're doing, but always increase your skills. So like be objective about your search. You go interview for something and you fail miserably at it, come back and look at the questions they asked you and say, do I know these things? Does my portfolio work reflect the things that they're asking me to do? And then if they don't, that's where you go improve, and then you go back the next time. And if you keep incrementally improving that interview, then you're going to get a job. So, and be passive, and don't be passive, be aggressive in your search. Reach out directly to employers and things like that. It'll help a lot. So I hope that helps.
Yep, definitely. And be brave too. Be brave in terms of when you think you're ready, because you'll never think you're ready. So
right.
Jump in with both feet. What's the worst that can happen? Like
you get told no. So what? So what? Just take it as a learning opportunity and keep going.
Definitely. Lala wants to know, and thank you for being a channel member, by the way, Lala. Says on Tuesday I asked about group work. Not asking you all to throw shade. What's your thoughts on attending a bootcamp that does do group projects?
I think it's a mistake. I mean, this is me, okay? So I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what they enforce and like to make sure that it's doing it. But in general, when I went to college and had group projects, you end up doing all the work and you don't really learn anything. You also can run into personalities that want to dominate the project and you don't really get to work on anything. So like, that's my problem with group work. The problem with software development is you work in a group, but typically you work on individual tasks. So doing an individual task is way more beneficial than doing group work. And that's my advice. So, you can always come to Coder Foundry. I mean, we're not going to do group work. We'll make you do it all. So like,
it's kind of funny because we have no official group work. Obviously, everyone produces their own projects, but people definitely do help each other. They work collaboratively. It's like it is.
But if you want to build the bug chart, you have to type it in though. So in other words, like you're not going to get the repo from Frank and then you pull his repo down and then claim it as your own. And that's what happens in group work. Where you said, "Oh, I did the front end," but did you? I mean, like so like so like that's the problem. And so forcing yourself to go through all of the efforts of when you're learning to code is the best thing you can do. There's no reason for group projects that I can imagine.
No, I can't either. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Because you have to show up and it's not what
you have to talk about it and show up and talk about it. So you might as well do it all.
Yeah.
So
because you're right. Well, what's going to happen if you go for an interview, right? And they say like, "Oh, what about this feature?" I think you're like, "I didn't do that."
Sammy did that,
So I guess have a look at that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not going to go well. I thought this comment was funny by Ridge Raider. .NET 8 apps will finish running before you even write code.
We'll see what they do. I mean, like right now they're in the middle of .NET 7, Maui's in its release candidate 3. I think it's going to be a big year for .NET. And I do think Maui's going to change. It's going to definitely impact the landscape across platform development.
Yeah, it was actually on Tuesday they did that. They did the new release candidate for Maui and the new release candidate for .NET 7.
Yeah, and so still people are complaining about it. Like they're not done yet. Like let them get done before you say, where is this and that and that. They're going to get there. They're just, it takes a while to build these things. But .NET 7 is going to be very, very quick. So it's going to be neat.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'd love to come to Coder Foundry. I'm scared I won't pass your logic puzzle quiz.
Well, take the logic puzzle and see if you pass. There's no risk in that. It's just time.
There's no practice. There's no like, just gotta go do it.
Don't be scared. Like, just take it right now. Go to Dev Quiz and take it right now. So and just see what you do.
That's it. Quit watching us right now and just go do it.
Yeah. Go take it.
codefoundry.com/quiz for anybody else who wants to take it too. Go there and take it. I'm always interested in what people's take on the quizzes.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think they're fun. I like it. But
it's definitely a logical thinking test. That's all it is.
Yep.
A little bit of math, but not algebra, just more simple math.
Right. Yeah. It's not
addition and subtraction.
It's not. Yeah. Don't be scared by it. There's no prerequisites.
Take a notepad. Take notes and use a notepad to scratch out your answers. That kind of stuff. It's multiple choice, so think through that. You're like, okay, which one of these?
Right. There's the
answer.
Exactly. There's a skill just in answering multiple choice questions that involves logic. Right. There's always one that you're like, well, no, it's not that one. You're kind of narrowing it down to 2, maybe 3. I think these. I think there are 4 or 5 answers in these. I forget exactly. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but 4 or 5 answers. So you can immediately rule some out. And then you can always. It is timed, but don't forget you can always kind of brute force some of these things too. That's another technique on these things, right? You're like, well, I know the answer. Does the answer fit into the question? Like,
exactly.
You can work the other way. Like, think about it that way
you work backwards through it too.
Once you've narrowed down to a couple, try and work one back, and then if you have to guess the other one, guess the other one. Again, it's part of the test, right? It's just there's lots of things in there.
You can do it.
Mikey wants to know, will being able to draw a cool Spider-Man picture get me into CoderFan? It's got to be a bad Spider-Man. It can't be cool.
Think bad Spider-Man's the way to go.
It's got to be a bad Spider-Man. If you've never seen it,
but if you want to send us a cool Spider-Man, go ahead. Yeah, send us a cool Spider-Man. We'd like to see it.
We would take that. But we'll talk about this.
We're rejected.
Page 95 in the book is the Spider-Man. It's
epic.
It's good. It's good. One day we'll show it on here, maybe.
Maybe NFT it.
We'll NFT it. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
NFT bad Spider-Man. Here you go. Let's see. Ryoku says, I was scared too. Took it and I think I did okay. It was kind of fun. Okay. Okay. That's good though. And thank you for being in.
That's fine. Yeah. If you're in your self-paced course, what we do with the test, we use the test as a guide when you take it, just to let you know, full disclosure, if you do score high on it, we're going to call you and ask you to come to the boot camp. But if you score low, we may call you back and go, hey, you know what? The self-paced course is probably better for you. What we've seen with this quiz is it's not a predictor if you can code or not. It's a predictor if you can do this in an accelerated fashion like we do at Coder Foundry. And the amount of students we've put through and we correlate those scores together, we can see, okay, if you get this, you're going to do pretty well in the class, assuming other factors. If you get lower than this, you're probably going to struggle at this space. Maybe the self-paced course is better for you. And what we try to do is be a good actor in the space, whereas we're not selling every single person in the Coder Foundry. I mean, like someone complained the other day. It's
kind of funny. People get really upset about
like you didn't let me in because I didn't pass your dumb quiz. Exactly. I'm like, I know, I didn't want to. I'm trying not to charge people what. In other words, I'm not trying to blow sunshine and rainbows and tell everyone they can do it. I think more can than they think.
Yeah.
And then I do have to convince people to come in sometimes because I tell them like, hey man, your score says you can do this. But if you're not able to do it, I'm going to tell you. And I think that's us being a good actor in this space. But we think everyone can pass the self-paced course. We think everyone should be able to follow along and get that. And then maybe we've had several people that go to the self-paced course for a little bit and then they come back to the full-time boot camp. They retake the dev quiz and bam, they've overcome that logic hurdle. They've practiced and learned a little bit. So it's good.
Yep. Exactly. It's not, just if you get a bad score in it, it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world.
It's definitely not. We've seen people who have got a lower score that have been successful. It's just like you say, in the time frame, in the concentrated time frame, it's easier to already have these skills. If you already have them, you don't have to kind of ramp up that part of it. You just have to do the learning part.
Right.
It's just easier. It makes more successful people over a short period of time. Okay. Eduardo says, I've seen that most job offers for .NET Full Stack ask for Angular experience, not React.
I think both are getting asked. I think I've seen Vue. We interviewed a company the other day, Vue, Angular, React. It's just kind of what you're looking for. And sometimes we do have, what is it called? A confirming bias, like where we think we see something. You buy a car that's red and suddenly every car is
exactly.
red.
I see a lot of my car on the road.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they're all in use. And I think that's a good thing. So like Angular is definitely something that you can get a job with. React, something you can get a job with. Vue, something to get a job with. My experience is Vue is less, but we interviewed a major corporation that wants to hire people that they're building their entire stack on Vue.js and Web API backend. So like major mortgage app. So, 9,000 national employees. So like very, very big. So I think all of them are being used. So don't feel bad if you know Angular, or just use it and go get a job with it.
Yep. Martin says, I took a dev quiz and got 41. What does this score mean to me? So 41 is an 82%. That means you did pretty good.
You did pretty good.
You did. I'll tell you, we've had the test, the quiz out there for, I don't know how many years now, but it's done thousands, right? So thousands of people have taken it. I will tell you that the average person, over thousands, the average score is about an 80. That's where.
So you're a little bit above average.
So slightly above.
So
average.
82, we like that score. 82 is a pretty good score.
If you get in the 90s on it, you've done well.
Yeah, and then we've only had a handful of 100s. We had one last week. Just a handful.
Yeah, we get them every so often. Yeah, we get them every so often. It's normally a 98 and somebody complaining at me about the one question being wrong. That's what we normally get.
Know what it is. So,
like somebody will send us an email and be like, "Hey, I took your quiz and question. I think it's like question 12 is wrong." I'm like, nah, it's not.
That's not. It just has two answers. So
it's kind of funny.
Yep.
But that's a good score, Martin. Yeah, that is a good score. If you took the quiz and you put your actual details in there, I'm sure somebody will reach out to you, at least on email, if not.
Yeah. If you don't want to come to the bootcamp, just tell them I'm not interested. I just took it for fun, and that's fine. We'll leave you alone.
That's totally.
We're not hard pressure sales. So.
No, not at all. Just want to make sure that if you're interested, that we give you the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. Jarrett says, any recommendations for finding a mentor if you aren't in a bootcamp?
I don't know, man. I mean, like that one's a tough one.
It is, because we were talking about this today. Actually, this morning, weren't we? We were talking about the one-on-one mentorship. It's unscalable. It's difficult to do.
I do see people on Twitter and YouTube doing it. I don't know how good they are, so I couldn't recommend any of them.
Yeah.
So I do know some do it.
I know Alex Tech Rally does it.
Yeah, and I would imagine that he does a pretty good job. I don't know what that means, though. Does he teach you to code? Does he give you advice on how to find a job? I don't know what that. You'd have to contact him what he actually does. Yep. But I think a good self-paced course is going to get you the education part down, and then learning how to tech interview and building a portfolio is the next thing you got to do, Jarrett. So there's like a 3-step process: learn to code, build a portfolio, build a flagship project, interview. So. And then I think that's what you do.
Yeah, I think.
But a mentor can give you an encouragement and keep you accountable. I get all that. So.
Yep. You've also got to be willing to pay for it. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
It's not. Most people won't just do it for free. That's the thing. It's like it takes a lot of time when it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
Any kind of one-on-one anything just takes a massive amount of time, and it's just that tends to be then just expensive. So just know that too. It's not cheap. You're going to spend $100 an hour maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not cheap. Okay, let's see. Walter wants to know, is there any place where we can see what's in progress or planned for the self-paced course?
Not really. We're just got what we got right now. So we're working on .NET. We're recording .NET 6 this week. That's coming out soon.
We don't put out I tell you why we don't put out a published calendar, because as soon as we want to miss one of the dates on it, it's like
people complain. So it's a lot of work to get them out, and then it's a lot of hours. So I know that .NET 6 is the next thing that's coming out, and that'll be in intro up to an address book in .NET 6. That'll be coming out soon. So we had a couple of delays with a couple of things that happened here, but we'll get it out the door.
Okay. Fadhil says, tips how to get more salaries as a programmer. Is it better to stay in one company or job hop? get works out.
So job hopping can help you and also can hurt you. If it's every 3 months, it can hurt you. If it's every 6 months, it can hurt you. If it's every other year, yeah, you can raise your salary. I would say first job, stay for a year if you can, and then look around, and then stay somewhere else for 2 or 3 years and look around. But once you get 2 to 3 years of your experience, you're going to get opportunities all the time. So, it's also about being comfortable, not necessarily the greatest salary, but if you're in it for the money, yeah, you can keep moving and work on it. Work on your increasing your salary.
I would say it's definitely not frowned upon as much.
It's not like worse, but I have seen some resumes where we had a guy that's applying for a .NET position that we had open, and he moved every 6 months like clockwork. And then so the recruiting we're recruiting for didn't want to hire him because he moved too much. And we're like,
happen.
Yeah. So we went back to him and said, why is this like this? Why is this like 6 month contract? And he had written his resume wrong. He says, well, I worked for this agency and I listed all my projects. I've been to the same place for 12 years. So like, you've got to make sure that your salary reflects accurately what it does, but they will look at like a really quick turnaround. That means maybe you're getting fired is what they're thinking, that you can't get a renewed contract is another thing that they can look at. So like having a year or two somewhere is good on the resume for sure.
Yep, definitely. Abasi, I don't know what message you mean, but
okay.
This message appeared.
That one did.
Some kind of like, there you go. It's some kind
of there.
Like thing going on here.
So
let's see.
And remember our giveaway here. If you were wondering about our giveaway, and our scholarship is still going on until next week. So
yeah. Oh, let's talk about that real quick. Actually, yeah, I had a bunch of applications for that, by the way. So yeah. The link is in the description below. So we have a current scholarship. Basically, one of our current self-paced students, or somebody who was in the self-paced course, decided that they got such a good outcome from it that they wanted to basically scholarship a couple people into it. So they wanted to remain anonymous. So that's okay. But they basically paid for a couple of you guys to go through it. So if you're interested in benefiting from that scholarship, you can, links in the description below. You can go through, click there, fill out the form, pretty simple, and we'll choose a couple next week.
Yeah, and you also can enter our giveaway. It's another way to win access to the course and a laptop and an Oculus. So it's pretty cool.
Yep.
And we'll give that away when we hit 100K. So we're still looking for that 100K sub. Get that plaque.
We are. My little, I don't know how many we're at because my little board here is dead.
Let's see. You can go wide here. Mine's open right now.
Oh, is it? I probably kicked my cable out or something under. There you go. 83.9. So just under 84. So 16K.
Yeah. 16K off. So,
we'll get there.
We'll get there one day.
Let me see. What's our next question? Let's see. Is there any way you could set up a weekly accountable Zoom call for those going through the self-paced course?
We've tried it and no one comes to it, to be honest.
Yeah. It ends up being that it's that
because we can't schedule everybody's time
again,
and we're East Coast and so we schedule resources and then there's 3 people, so we need to do more in scale. So, but you can definitely ask questions inside the platform and we answer those. You can ask questions on Discord, and there's some guys in there answering questions on Discord. So we try to do that. But maybe we'll bring it back. Maybe we'll look into it again. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll never say never. So
yep.
Ben says, "Where's the giveaway link?" And find it yesterday. You can click the QR code. You could do that, or
it's QR code.
Codefoundry.com/giveaway. I think. Hold on, let me double check.
Yeah, just hit that QR code.
Yeah, I promise you can trust us with the QR code. It literally just goes to one URL. I made it myself. If it doesn't work, you can personally blame me, but it does. Trust me. Yeah, codefoundry.com/giveaway is the other way. You can just go straight to that URL.
Enter up, Ben. Good luck.
Yeah, get in. I looked at how many entries we've had in that, actually. Look at that. Maybe we'll look at that after this.
Yeah.
see. Oh, I like this one. Ridge Raider. Any recommendations on another host besides Heroku? I can't publish to them currently because of ongoing issues with them. You have like a personal like beef with Heroku? Is that what's going on?
I mean, you have to pick AWS or Azure. They cost.
There is one more. I'm trying to think. I'd seen one. Somebody had recommended another one.
I mean, we're still publishing to Heroku. I mean, I'm curious what your issues are, but like, I don't think we've had any issue. I saw someone saying the other day that they weren't going to promote from GitHub, but I just don't. That's not true. I mean, it just still works to me. So maybe I need to look into it. That's the second time I've heard that.
Oh, Vercel was another one. I haven't used this, so I'm not gonna like.
I haven't used it.
I mean, we haven't done anything with it, but this is another one that allows you to have a backend as well. And I think they have a free tier. Yeah, they do have a.
Do they do .NET?
And it does. I don't know. I don't know if it does or not, but it does. CI/CD as well. So and it just have that set, and it's the same through Git. So I think I'm pretty.
We
sure
haven't tried this, so I have no idea.
But I've heard that people have been using this one instead of Heroku. So so yeah, look at this one. It's Vercel, Vercel.
Yeah. But even if you need a build pack or something like that, and see if they have a build pack to be able to compile it down, and it'll run anywhere. .NET will run anywhere. You just got to get it compiled correctly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that it has that. I'm sure I'd seen that it had a .NET build pack. I think. Yeah, I don't recall. It's been a while since I looked at it, but I do remember seeing that one.
In Ridge Raider, if you can hit us up in Discord, I'd like to see what your issues are with Heroku, just to make sure that it's not something we can't solve or contact. And we know some people over there, so like maybe we can help out. Just hit us up in Discord. We'll see. We'll get one of the instructors to look at it.
Cool. Brandoni says, haven't watched you guys in a while, but thanks for help.
Wow, awesome. 2 years ago. All right. Nice.
Okay. I wonder what did we say 2 years ago, I wonder what we were doing 2 years ago. That's some pretty good videos 2 years ago.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. Brandoni.
Oh, here we go. Security token stolen. That's interesting. Their workaround is using Git from VS to the repository, but it's not popping up for authentication. Because they have multi-factor authentication turned on.
Okay.
It's a security issue of some kind. Yeah, that's probably
put that in Discord and let me look and see what we could do. So we'll see. And I'll look into that and see what we can
so maybe this might be a wider thing then, because Decode said GitHub pushed an email out with something up with Heroku about that too. Maybe it's not just you. Maybe it's a wider issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
They've got to fix it. I mean, they're run by Salesforce. I mean, like, they're going to fix it. So, like,
yeah. Well, if it's an issue, they're definitely going to fix it.
They'll fix it.
Yeah. Okay, let's this one. Yeme says tips for landing your first position.
All right, so I'm assuming you learned how to code. You got a skill-based industry. You got to learn how to code. Second, you got to have a portfolio, I think, and then third, you got to have a flagship project on that. Fourth, you work with a recruiter that helps you and pitch that portfolio as a sales artifact during the demo, and then turn interview questions into demos. So that basically, if they ask you a technical question, try to answer that question with your code base that you've built out, and then message employers directly as you're applying as well, and just keep doing that round trip follow up. Apply as many places as you can, continue to learn, take notes at every interview and see if you answered the questions correctly. If you didn't, go back, restudy. You also can study the top 30 interview questions in the stack that you're learning. So if that's .NET, you top .NET 30 interview questions, or JS top 30 JS questions, and see if you can answer those. And specifically, can you answer them with code that you've written? I think that'll help a lot.
There you go. Let's talk about this real quick as well. Will there be any additional content released for Bug Tracker, or is it finished?
It's good enough to where you can definitely show it off like that. There's a couple of features that are missing. I think notifications are missing. We're gonna record notifications, but we took a break to get the .NET 6 out so that we could have .NET 6 content out. As soon as we've done that, we'll come back to the bug tracker here in the next month or two just to finish up. To let you know, though, the next version of the bug tracker won't include notifications or history because we don't. We think it makes the project too long, and it's not really a super value add to the overall project anyway. So the next version is not going to have those features either. So like whatever's in there right now is good enough to get you a job with for sure. So just build what we have and show it and get a job. That's the whole point of this, is to build it and show it. So there's a lot there, hundreds and hundreds of hours of video there. We also have the blog and Movie Pro as well. So there's lots of content out there for you to crank away on.
Okay. Victor says, ever heard of Revature?
Yes.
If so,
so I've never worked with Revature. I've never talked with Revature, and this is my understanding how it works. Basically, you have to sign an employment contract with them, and they train you a little bit. And if you leave before that contract's over, you'd have to pay that fee back to them. That could be 15 grand or 20 grand or whatever. Too. Yeah, but you do get paid. This is not where you're working for nothing. So if you're having trouble breaking in, it is an avenue. And a lot of people want to paint it as scammy because of the employment contract thing. And I understand where that comes from, but scammy to me is working for free. You're not an indentured servant. You do get paid. And I think you get paid reasonably well. Maybe it's a little bit lower than market rates. I'm not really sure. You'd have to negotiate that. But, remember, the first job is not your last job, and you're just trying to break in. And you're trying to build a 10-year career. So you don't have to spend your entire life at Revature. You can spend 24 months or 3 years or whatever the length of that is, and then move on, and you've got experience. So that's my thoughts. Is it the best deal out there? I don't know. Probably not, but it's better than nothing. I mean, that's for sure. They are paying. So, and they are providing a service where they're training you with their education. How good is it? I don't know. But apparently they think it's good enough because they place you on contracts. So just read the fine print and see what your outs are and what you're committing to, and know what you're doing going in, and then embrace it, make money, get experience, and then move on to the next thing. That's my thoughts.
Okay. Let's see. Dominic says, I learned HTML email development. I had my first interview the other day. Didn't get the job because of no professional experience.
All right. So what do we have to do? So what we have to do now is show them some HTML email development and show them some projects, and then manufacture that professional experience. So now you know that, hey, that's a limitation. So apparently, and I'm not saying that you did or didn't do this, so don't get mad at me, but maybe we didn't show anything at all. We said, hey, I've learned this. Well, can you show me an example? I don't have one. So make some HTML's experience, get a free MailChimp account, free whatever, and start really doing that. And then it's only your first interview. So one rejection doesn't paint you as a failure either. So take that, improve your skills, improve the stuff you're showing, and show them what you can do, and then you'll have better success. I hope that helps, Dominic. But don't give up because you got one rejection.
Yeah, I mean, we say this all the time. You've got to get comfortable with rejection, because it's going to happen. You're just not going to. Yeah. You go for one interview and get the job, then you just you're in 1%, right? It's a unicorn.
Yeah.
You got really, really lucky. So,
yeah. And then look at different. You can go to these inspirational sites. They're called inspirational sites, and they'll say HTML email template inspirations for 2021, and see if you can clone all those, especially more of the harder ones that break the box model, where it's not just squares, it may have curves and things like that. So maybe there's some more stuff that you can learn how to do. But you can do this. Now that you've went through the effort of learning it, let's monetize it. So just build more stuff.
Let's talk about this real quick. So Gibbon said, does anyone on here got a link for a bug tracker, and is it self-paced or part of the program? So
it's in both programs.
In both programs. But
yeah,
why don't we why don't we put it out there?
Because people will just download it and then say it's theirs, and then they don't get the result that they want. The act of coding this is the thing. So it's part of the self-paced course, and it's also part of our full-time immersive bootcamp. It's our flagship project. We want you to win, and we want you to get a job. We want you to be successful. There are no shortcuts. We have a lot of people that come to the self-paced course that jump all the way to the bug tracker, and that's the only thing they do. And then they struggle because they don't even know JavaScript, HTML, or Bootstrap. So we want you to be successful. Ours is a process and a plan to get you to a career that you can bank 5 to 10 years on. So that's our goal. It's not to sell you a course per se, it's to get you into a career. And that's how we're different than everyone else in the industry. We make you code it. That's why we don't give it out. Because if we didn't, then it's really easy to just say, hey, I got it running, I got it compiled, and look at my bug tracker. And then they ask you one thing about it and you can't talk about it.
Exactly. And then we look bad because you learned that.
Yeah, then we look like charlatans, It does work. I mean, like over and over and over again. So like it's just our method works. It's just, a little bit different than what everyone else does. On Udemy, they just give you the GitHub repo. Whoop-de-doo.
Right. Right. Ben says, I'm rebooting my wife's Wix site for her business for my flagship project.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah.
Oh, Chris, awesome. Thank you. I'll come back to that in 1 second. For my flagship project, will include front-end, back-end, etc., e-commerce. Is this a viable option, and is it doable on my part-time self-learning basis? It's basically making a full-stack website. I'm guessing this has...
Oh, he's rebuilding it from Wix. It wasn't Wix, and now you're building it something else.
Including e-commerce, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, perfect. Like we said, solve a business problem. If you watch the One Coding Project video or the Essential Coding Project video, solve a business problem, must have security, must have it on a database. Those do all of those things. So I think it's definitely viable, and it's definitely doable on a part-time learning basis. Yeah.
I would say,
You just got to make sure your wife doesn't give you scope creep, so like that.
Oh, that's going to happen. Come on.
Yeah, that project manager's coming.
We know this is going to happen. We know this is going to happen. I just need a simple page.
To do this.
I bet you when Ben got first asked for this page, like I just need a page. It's just one page, and then it turns out to be like it's a website. Now it's like it needs a back end. Oh, I need to sell things on it. Duh.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben, come on, what are you doing? I need to sell stuff on it.
Right. You can always integrate Shopify too.
And that would be my suggestion. Thing. Yeah, definitely. I would look at integrating something like Shopify or some third party for the e-commerce part at least. Don't try and roll your own. It's just it might be a nice learning curve, but sure, it's not going to get a website for the next 18 months. Right? Because you're going to have to learn a lot.
Yep. But definitely doable. Definitely something you can do.
Should a .NET developer learn gRPC, RabbitMQ, and Kafka?
You can. I mean, those are definitely specific things. RabbitMQ being for a specific use case. You may never run into it if you need an MQ. If you need a queue, then that's fine. gRPC, for certain scenarios, it compresses things in between. But still to this day, web is still HTTP 2 and 3. So for certain things, gRPC is very beneficial, but you don't have to. But if you need it, it's there.
Something you can put on your resume, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if you're using it on the daily, then you gotta learn it.
Right. John has I'm guessing this is from a personal experience with Revit. Says it's legit, but you can't always choose where you go.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of people get bored out of their contracts after the first year by the employer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is nice too. That's what Revit is kind of betting on, right? They're betting on you being a great employee and the company wanting to keep you on and paying their their recruiting fee. They get
the recruiting fee of $20,000. So So like I said, experience is job one, not the best job in the first job. It's just and you can't pick where you want to go. Yeah, be mobile. That's one part of it. And then you're building a career here. And then once you get 2 to 3 years, the world is your oyster. You can do what you want to do.
Yep, definitely. And Chris, thank you for the super chat. Super appreciate it. Self-paced course has been amazing. Can't wait to finish the project and switch careers. coding all these things has been a blast. That's cool. See, that's a good sign, Chris. The fact that you actually enjoy it is like,
yeah, if you like coding, it's fun. Yeah.
That has to be the thing. We see people that are just like, it feels like a slog to get through this. Then it might not be for you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to enjoy the process. That comes back to that same question, right? About people who are like, you got to build your passion project because you got to be interested in it. It shouldn't matter what project you're building. Like, just the fact that you are in the process of building a project is the interesting part.
My first coding job, I was smiling ear to ear the whole day. Like, I couldn't believe they were paying me to code. I mean, when I was a young coder coming up, and I was working on, engines.
Right.
I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to like write some code and make some stuff work. It's kind of cool. It was fun.
Yeah, the process has to be the interesting part. If you're bored making something, or you're coding up something to try and solve a problem and you just do not like it, I mean,
the problem solving is really the thing that's fun. I mean, solving, like making it work. Even today, when I make something simple, like I'm in coding game and I make Thor move, I'm like, yes. Yeah, it's still get that thrill,
Yeah, it's still good, isn't it? It's like, that's it. That's true. Let's see what Scott says. Scott says, I always ignore the GitHub repos while I'm taking my course or taking a course until I complete the project.
Sure.
Then I review the provided repos, learning tools, see if there's different projects I'm taking. Yeah, see, that's one way to do it, definitely.
That's one way to do it. I just know that
most people just don't do that.
They don't do that. And so we want people to go through we think coding itself, the act of coding, typing in the code, is more beneficial than people can possibly imagine than reviewing code, especially when you're learning. Because you learn about syntax, overcoming bugs, debugging, all of those things, getting it to work. So,
Jarrett, thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jared. Thanks a lot, man. Tacos today. All right.
Let's see. Pull up the. There we go. What would you do differently while learning if you want to stay on the front end side versus of development versus full stack in terms of projects?
You're going to have to learn, in my opinion, you're going to have to learn a front-end JavaScript framework, which kind of like leads you to full stack anyway, but you're going to have to learn a templating engine, which is Vue, Angular, or React, to do it. Now, the first thing you learn is vanilla JavaScript because all those are based on JavaScript. So, but then you need to build things that do something. So tic-tac-toe, Pokédex, those things are front-end projects. They don't really do anything. One of the projects we build is a mortgage calculator, which has been very successful in showing people, I can solve a business problem with just front-end technologies and JavaScript, things like that. So, and if you build a to-do list, which a lot of people do, you got to expand the feature set, make it a little bit bigger. It can't be just a single line edit box and you just have one button and you can just click add, and make that work. It's got to do something, fix something, grocery list, or build an address book with front-end technologies is the other thing you can do. So that's what I would do.
There you go. Just noticing over here on the scoreboard, by the way, that Chris is listed twice, but I know that's only one Chris. Don't worry about it. I think that's a Stream Elements thing, not a Google or a YouTube thing.
Get doubled up.
You didn't actually double up. Don't worry about it. We're not taking money out of your account.
Yeah.
But thank you for the super chat, and thank you, Jarrett.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Jarrett.
Just to bring this back around, then, I am a grizzly bear. So are we going to lose our jobs?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like if you're working as a dev right now, I don't think you're going to lose your job. But let's say you do, and you're working as a dev, you're going to have a job very quickly after that because that company didn't respond well to the recession, maybe. But not every company is going to just jettison software development. I mean, like there's tons and tons of opportunities. You can look at Indeed right now and look at any stack and see how many jobs are across the U.S. if you're in the U.S. and you'll see how many jobs are out there. I mean, like it's never ending and they're coming in every day. So don't panic over this. Just roll with the punch, man. Just stay committed to your craft and you'll always be employed. You're not going to lose your jobs.
It's kind of like, even though we're seeing right now all over like mainstream news that this recession is coming, firstly, it's not a guarantee. There's definitely differing opinions on this. This is not a done deal. This is not like we start a recession tomorrow. So firstly, there's that. It may never even happen. So there's that first part. And secondly, we've seen zero slowdown in people getting jobs at this point.
Right.
So we haven't seen any of it. So at this point. So,
and if it does slow, it's going to slow down. It's not going to stop.
It's not going to be like the pandemic where we just shut
no, it's
down
not. Yeah, and then it could be only a quarter. We may get a recession for only 1 quarter, and then we're right back where we were, and the stock market goes right back. And so, don't let these prospects of a downturn or a looming recession cause you to make bad decisions. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you're working right now, keep working, keep doing your job. You'll be fine.
This is definitely not financial advice, but
nah.
This is a dip in the market. Just saying.
Yeah. It's a dip in the market. I mean, stock market always dips and it always comes back. It's like if you track it over 10 years, time to buy.
It's the time to buy. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Chris. Okay, that's why you're on there twice. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for both of them. I appreciate it.
2 times.
I guess you must have been the last one then. That's funny. You must have been the last one on Tuesday.
Thanks, cool. Chris.
Thank you. So you know about more about this than I do. I always just assumed that it's Stream Elements making an error.
Yeah. So we got 4 minutes here, so we're gonna get off at 1. If you got a burning question, hit us on the super chat. If not, we'll get to the ones we got queued up here. So we'll try to run through a couple here.
Definitely. Hassan says, hello, I want to job freelance and I'm a developer. Can you help me?
I don't know if I can't help you find a job, but you got to find a way to get your name out there. So you need a portfolio, something to show people, and a way to freelance. So there's some websites out there, Toptal, Fiverr, but there's a lot of things out there where you can do it. You can also enter into contracting with a recruiter as well. So if you already have the skills, it's just part of the sales process of finding clients at that point. So if you're not a great salesperson, I would say that one of the websites, the freelance websites, is kind of where you start until you build up a clientele. That's what I would do. But you got to have something to show so that they can know that you can do the work. It'll help you land stuff quicker.
Okay, Troy says, ERP experience is something I often hear from recruiters because it interacts with e-commerce web apps, and most companies have an ERP. Thoughts of adding a mock ERP API?
It's too varied. So all these platforms, whether that be Salesforce, Great Plains, or whatever Microsoft's calling their thing, there's a bunch of these out there. So there's no way to really
they're all
teach that other than teach that platform. So it's difficult because I've worked with a bunch of them and they're all different, and you got to embrace what they're doing. So Salesforce experience obviously is really good. Microsoft,
you can make
Dynamics or Great Plains or whatever they call it is good. You can make a living doing there. There's some other ones too out there that have it. So you can definitely make a living at an ERP, and most companies, big companies, do have an ERP for sure.
Cool. Let's talk about a couple of things before we wrap up.
Okay, cool.
Scholarship is still open, so the link is in the description below. One of our awesome students, one of you guys who went through the course, basically has sponsored a couple of students to go back through the course, so you get a year's worth of access to learn.codeoffoundry.com. Links in the description. You can fill that form out, and we'll choose a couple. We'll probably close it off next week, so we'll choose it on Tuesday, I think. So we'll choose a couple of recipients next week, and we'll be in contact with those who receive those scholarships. So that's one thing. Secondly, the giveaway up here too. You can click the little QR code or go to codeoffoundry.com/giveaway. When we reach 100,000 subscribers, we will be giving away a laptop, an Oculus, and another year's worth of access to the course.
Yeah. So anyway, good luck. And hey, stay positive out there, folks. We'll be back next Tuesday. Learn to code, break into the industry, whether you come to Code Foundry or not. It's the best industry right now. It's the most recession-proof thing that you can get into. So just have confidence in that and keep doing what you're doing. And good luck and keep coding. We'll see you Tuesday.
Okay, guys.